Kylie girl, before you start restocking, can you please ship out the orders that you already have? Hi everyone, welcome back to my lab and today's video in which we're going to be playing with the brand new Kylie Cosmetics summer collection. I received my collection a few days ago. I've had a chance to create 4 different looks. I used every product that I'm going to be sharing with you today, so this is definitely not a first impressions. Before we get into the video, if you're new to my channel, I'm Yori. Thank you for clicking on my video and I hope you do enjoy it. Consider subscribing and joining me for a future one. Now with regards to the video, we're going to be playing with the eyeshadow palette, a brand new product to her line which she calls the eye glazes, and I also picked up 2 of the matte lipsticks. There was also a gloss in the collection, 1 or 2 glosses, but I wasn't interested in trying out the glosses. These were the products that intrigued me the most and I'm ready to share my thoughts with you. So if you're ready, let's go ahead and begin. So we're going to start with the eyes today. We're going to go into the Kylie eyeshadow palette. This is called the Under the Sea eyeshadow palette and it is a 12 pan eyeshadow palette. But nowhere on the carton does it say what the name of the palette actually is. I had to go back into my order to see what that was. You have a cardboard packaging with a magnetized closure. You have a mirror on the inside, and there are your shades. There's 4 mattes in this palette, and they are going to be that, and that. I'm going to use all 4 of them on my eyes, starting lightest to darkest. I'm also going to be using some Kylie Cosmetics brushes. I thought it was appropriate. I've had these that I bought a long time ago when they had some sort of clearance. And you know, after all the hullabaloo about the brushes really aren't that bad. Like, they're kind of nice. I don't think that they're at the level of what they were originally asking, but I didn't pay full price, and so for what I paid, I thought they were good. So I'm using a Kylie number 15 and I'm going to begin to apply this in my crease as my initial transition. So here I'm just applying the shade Hook You In, which is the lightest shade in the palette. And this is really just kind of a peachy nude kind of shade. This isn't a first impression. This is now my fourth look using this palette. So I've used almost every single shade in the palette except a couple that I just cannot bring myself to touch because they just look so bad, honestly. These brushes aren't the softest, but they are quite soft and I still see a little bit of kick up in the pan. Now I'm going to go into the shade Sure About You, and I'm just going to use the same brush and apply it just a little bit further down. You can really see the peachiness starting to come through here. You know, it actually took me forever to get my palette or just the collection I bought in general. I purchased it on launch day, like really right around lunchtime. Usually it's at 3 p.m. Central, which is my time zone. And I ordered it right away because I couldn't resist the Under the Sea. I love everything themed with the ocean. I just love it so much. I can't help myself. I couldn't resist it. And I really like these peachy tones for summer as well. So I really, really wanted this collection. Anyway, I got my order confirmation right away, which typically happens. I have ordered from Kylie Cosmetics before, but I did not get a shipping confirmation for days and days. Like, I think it was over a week, maybe a week and a half, which I just didn't understand because they were sending all these restock emails. And I'm just like, Kylie girl, before you start restocking, can you please ship out the orders that you already have? Eventually I got it. Everything arrived safely, and Kylie's packaging is usually really, really nice, and this was no different. So next I'm using a Kylie 12 and the shade Welcome Aboard. The names are really so cute. Again, I'm seeing a lot of powder kick up. I think that the 3 shades I've put down so far, they're very, very harmonious with each other. They're just varying tones of the same color, really, and they're really, really nice. But you're gonna see when I put down the last shade, that last shade is a lot more cool toned, and interestingly, it doesn't have a lot of depth. I would say that's one of the main shortcomings of this palette, is that you don't have a lot of shades to deepen out your looks. The last of the eye brushes that I decided to try was the number 11. I think Tati was always raving about this one. And I'm going to the shade My Treasure, which is that cool tone brown shade. And you're going to see that it's really not going to add any depth to my look, even though I'm going to try. So I'm just putting this on the outer corner of my eye. This brush really is nice for outer V kind of work to deepen it out. It's just the shade doesn't have that much depth to it. It's just considerably more cool tone than the others, which I find kind of interesting because it's very different than the rest of the palette, which is peachy and warm. I consider myself to be a light medium skin tone, and honestly, I'm very dissatisfied with the depth that I can achieve with this palette. I do love the daytime looks that I can create, but I think that it could have been made so much more versatile if they had added a deeper shade. One of the things that I like about this brush is that if you hold it upside down, where the angled part is downward, it kind of digs out the crease for you a little bit, and then the shorter bristles blend out, which is kind of nice because I don't have a crease. I usually have to create one. I mean, I have a crease, it's just hooded. I'm gonna go ahead and go into this next shade, Salty Sweet, and I'm going to apply that to the inner part of my eye. I'm gonna start with a dry brush, just so you can see you're really not getting much of anything at all. So I'm gonna spray my brush and try again. And that gives you much better pigmentation. Otherwise, it was kind of flaky and the shadow wouldn't really pick up on my brush. But when you spray it down, you get a better effect. You do have to be careful because it's one of those shades that if you pack it on too much, it starts to sort of flake and look a little bit scaly. So you have to be careful not to overdo it. Now, hopefully you won't be too disappointed that I'm not going to go into those brightly colored shades. I've used both of them already and they work fine. I actually really like them, but I'm going to use this one because I want to use the brighter of the two lipsticks, and I don't think it goes really well with either of those two shades. So I want to use this one, which is called Abandoned Ship. I'm going to use a Wayne Goss number 7 brush for that, and I'm kind of swiping crossways like this to pick up the color, to make sure I can get that pigment on my brush. And then I'm going to spray my brush because, again, I've used almost every shade in the palette already and I know how they work best. I'm just gonna touch up a little bit of the mattes around the edges so we can get a nice diffused look. So looking at this eye, wouldn't you feel that I need something deeper in the outer V, and I don't have anything in this palette that can achieve that. So that's really my main complaint with the palette. Other than that, I think everything else is quite nice. I'm gonna go into this Morphe M326 brush and I'm going to highlight with the shade Sea Pearl. I do want to take that peachiness onto the lower lash line a little bit, so I'm going to use a more pencil type brush. This is a Morphe M431. Now, upon swatching, one shade I didn't think I would love is this shade right here, Can I Kelp You? Such a punny name. And the reason why I didn't think I would like it is because it's kind of a pressed glitter, but this layers so beautifully over all the metallic shadows and it really gives them that push that they need to go over the edge. So I'm just gonna apply this over top. Hopefully you can see that adds a little something. I didn't use any glitter glue, but you definitely could if you wanted to get more intensity. Again, I want to focus on the lips, so I'm not going to go ahead and do that. My instinct is to deepen out the outer V again, but like I said, it's just very unsatisfactory in that regard. Very much so. I'm going to finish the other eye off camera since I kind of abandoned doing that one. But that's going to be the finished eye look in terms of the eyeshadow palette. I'm going to probably add some wing liner and lashes and mascara and all those little things and finish off this eye, and I will be right back. So we're starting to come together. I want to finish with the lip color. I bought 2 lipsticks from the collection. There were 3, but the other one was more of like a shimmery topper kind of color, and I didn't want to go with that one. So I bought the 2 matte ones, which were in the shade Beach Bum and Paradise Please. Now, Beach Bum is a nude one. I'm going to show you swatches so you can see, and this one looks, I don't know, to me it looks a little bit darker in the bullet than it shows up on the lips, but I've always said in all my videos my lips are really pigmented, and with nudes I have to use a lip liner, base, or something like that to get the color to show up as it is. But this is the color that I wanted to wear, which is why I kept my eyes a little bit more neutral. So we're gonna go ahead and apply that, and I have a lip liner from Rimmel London, and it's one of their Exaggerate Full Color lip liners. And this is number 102, Peachy Beachy. See what I did there? Kind of sticking with the theme. Alright, so I finished my eye look with some wing liner, some very bold lashes. I honestly should have gone a little lighter, but whatever. And I applied my lipstick. These lipsticks have such a delicious fragrance. They smell like buttercream frosting. They retail for $17 a piece. Now, when applying the lipsticks, there's a little bit of a drag to them, very much unlike the Lisa Eldridge lipsticks that I just tried out, but they are very pigmented. The only thing is that these lipsticks have a little bit of a white base to them, and I find, which I've said repeatedly, that over my very pigmented lips, it either gives me the dead look or it just emphasizes everything that's wrong with my lips. So before applying today, I made sure to exfoliate using a lip scrub, and I had a lip balm on during the entire stages of my makeup application, and I think that I got a good application then. Even so, I still went in with a lip liner just to do a very nice lip line. The reason why I wanted to use a lip liner is because when you apply the lipstick, you can define the lip line, but I'm one that I really like to blend, you know, press my lips together and such, and when you start to move the lipstick around a little bit, that's when it starts to leave a little bit of patches. So instead of doing that, I decided to apply the lipstick all over and then just define my lip line with a lip liner, and luckily I had one that just matched perfectly. The nude one, you can obviously use a nude lip liner that suits your skin tone. I like the lipsticks fine. I was really drawn to the colors and I wanted to pick up a couple of pieces of the collection. Honestly, I was really drawn to this one. And I'm happy I picked it up. I think it looks nice, and I don't have a lip color exactly like this. It's like a strawberry shortcake kind of lip color, and it's really pretty and appropriate for summer. It's lightweight, a little bit moussey or velvety feeling, but also a little bit waxy as well. Like, it's not going to be my favorite lip formula, and do I think you can find similar colors in more affordable ranges? I absolutely do. So those are my thoughts on the lipsticks. Now, I didn't use it in the demo, but I did pick up one of her new shimmer eye glazes, which is a new product to her line, and the shade that I picked up was the blue one, which was in the shade Aqua Mama. So these are very similar to the Tarte Chrome Pots, the Hourglass Scattered Light eyeshadows, the Marc Jacobs eyeshadows. I love those eyeshadows, really. And like the others, they come in a little pot with a little stopper. Mine was completely pressed, so I didn't really need to use the stopper. This is a beautiful product. I'm going to show you swatches, of course, and when it applies to the eyes, it's a little bit sheer, but as a topper shade, it really adds that extra bit of dimension. I really like this. These retail for $20, but since I bought it in conjunction with the eyeshadow palette, you can get one of these eye glosses or eye glazes. Yeah, eye glazes, you can get them for half price. So I paid $10 for this one. Regular price is $20. There was a bundle with all four. I like the shade that I picked up also because it's unique to my collection. I have a lot of these potted eyeshadows. I love the effect. I just think they're so fun. And she did a really good job with this one. It is, in my opinion, the more unique color. The other three were a little bit more common and something that you may find in more accessible formats with the Hourglass, with the Marc Jacobs, and with Tarte. They're not necessarily more affordable, but they're more accessible because you can swatch and try them out in store, whereas this hasn't come to Ulta yet, and I'm not sure if it will. Maybe later down the line. The last item was the eyeshadow palette, of course, which I gave you my thoughts on the eyeshadow palette as I was using it. And you know, to be honest, for this being my fourth use of the eyeshadow palette, I have used absolutely every single shade except for two. One of those is the shade Seashell Kisses. I will never use that shade. It just does not appeal to me at all. It doesn't swatch well. It looks super flaky. It doesn't pick up well on a brush. It's kind of jelly if you press your finger in it. Just from me swatching it, it looks pretty rough. So I just know I'm never gonna go for that shade. I'm just not. The shade Can I Kelp You is kind of a pressed glitter, but it does give you a very nice iridescence to your look, and I think it goes really well with the sea theme of the palette. The shimmery shades, you have two more neutral shimmers, Sea Peach, Salty Sweet. They're fine. And the more colorful shades, Mermaid Mama, Abandoned Ship, and Be Pacific, I think they apply really well to the lid, and I use the same technique for Mermaid Mama and Be Pacific. Such a cute name. The names are adorable. I have to give her credit for that. They apply fine with a synthetic brush if you sort of swipe in the pan, as I did when I applied the shade Abandoned Ship. So now with regards to the matte, I already shared my complaint in that I would have liked to have seen one of these replaced with a really deep shade. I think that the palette could have just benefited from that quite a bit. The retail price for the palette is $42. That's quite pricey, especially for as powdery as the shadows are. more. I don't mind powdery shadows. I think that they have great pigmentation, like the Dose of Colors ones, but you do run through them a little bit quickly. So at $42, I think it's a little bit overpriced. I like the color story. For a very easy 2 to 3 eyeshadow look for the everyday, I think it's gonna work out quite well. But if you want to do something a little bit more intricate, you're going to be frustrated by the fact that you don't have a deepening shade. Overall, I like the palette. I don't necessarily love it. I do love the names though. The names are adorable. For me, if I was going to recommend something from the line, I would recommend the eye glazes. I think that these really are going to add value to your collection, especially if you don't own these already. And at $20, they're priced along the lines of other prestige type brands. So hopefully they'll come to Ulta so we can collect some points in them as well. And hopefully she'll come up with a couple more creative colors, because the others, you know, they were champagne, peaches, and things like that that we can find in other more mainstream brands. Probably pointless to mention the brushes, but I actually kind of like them, and I'm pretty picky about my brushes. That's everything for my video. If you enjoyed it or found it helpful, don't forget that thumbs up. I really appreciate it. And if you have any questions, leave those in the comment section. I love engaging with you in the comment section, even if I have to wait till the day after to get back to you, because when my videos go up, I'm already at work, and you know, I gotta get through my work day and then I can write you back. But I do look forward to reading all your comments, and I really get a kick out of seeing the little pop-up notifications every time that you do write. So keep your thoughts coming. That's it for me today. Thank you so much for spending a few minutes of your day with me. I really appreciate it. I hope you subscribe if you haven't already, and I look forward to seeing you again really soon on my next one. Bye-bye.